this side was actually easier. I didn't need a tool or anything. I was able to get my fingers underneath of it and pop it out. So it's the same thing. It just has these clips on the side, little spring clips to hold it in. Goes in the hole. And same thing on the top. You have to, around the pin, plug rather, just push that together, and it's got a little edge on it, so you can put that and pull it out. So then, same thing. Let's go over here and see if we can't get that one to working. I'll go take this apart and swap her with this. Okay, so take the 4 screws out of the back, kind of like that on there. Let's get back in focus. Pull those 4 screws out, have that board, and you pull it out, and then there you have it. So you've got the same rocker switch as the other one has, and the same like lock buttons. I have to pry those apart to get those there. So this one looks, instead of swapping all of like the electronics and stuff, I just drop the pieces into here, and that should be that. Well, that's what it would look like. Here's, you have to pop these the spring clips off of there as well. In order to get it off, you have to get, come on, focus. You have to get something, point. I was using a knife to get under there, so you can pry that little tab up off the lip, the thing to put it back on. Just pop it into place. Pop it into place like so. Then there you have it. So I've got a problem. So the bottom buttons work like they're supposed to. They fit, everything's fine there. Well, not everything's fine. It's still a little bit snug, the stuff in it. I guess the overlay, you gotta kind of scrape some of the stuff out of there. It should work. That would be fine. The problem that I'm having is this guts are different than these guts. So where the rocker, this goes on the button. So when you like either pull up or push down or whatever, this little rocker pivots and will push whichever button to make it go up or the window go up and down. The problem I'm having is this is keyed or whatever to go on this one. So it fits fine. Drops right in. Not so much here. 1, the board won't go in. And 2, there's no way to hook up the rocker switch so that it sits right. It won't. If I get it in like I did the other one, if you can drop it into, you're not going to see it because of my fat hand in the way, but if I drop it, so you can see there's those 2 little grooves. And I've got that on the bottom of it here, those pins. So if I put those pins in the little groove, okay, let's try. If I put the little pins into the groove, it sits in there. It doesn't sit like this one actually has a little valley for the rocker to sit in. So it'll sit flat and pivot. I don't have that here. Or I have a different type here, however, but this doesn't go right. So I can set it in there and it sits on top of that, or sits up against that, that's fine, but then I still have the issue where I can't get the board in. So even if that would work-ish, that board won't fit. So kind of stuck. So sent a message, waiting for a response back. I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to go ahead and screw the back plate on there. So at least it looks cool. I mean, it won't, the passenger side window won't work. Driver's side's fine. So we'll see what happens. So, I mean, it's kind of disappointing because I was really looking forward to having that in there. I think it looks pretty cool. So, we'll see what happens. Now, there's what it looks like installed, but it doesn't have any guts in it. I haven't got it plugged in or anything, so it doesn't do anything. It looks cool, but doesn't work. So, there's that. So I guess on to the next. We'll figure out, maybe I'll do the center console. I think that's what I'll do next. Center console. All right, so I got this thing out. There's dozens of videos out there on how to do this, but first thing, you have to pull up the shifter cover so that you can get to this screw. So that slides down over here, screw goes in there and holds it on. So you pull that out so you can slide that off, and then this basically just pops out. I mean, it takes a little work to pop out, and then you have to unhook this pin connector. Same thing as the other ones. You just push down the little tab and pull it out, and then you get something that looks like this from the back side. You have to be careful because I already dropped one in there. So thankfully I have a bag of them, because when I changed this out once before when I put my shifter in, when I switched to that carbon shifter, I dropped one before. So actually I think I broke that one. So you have to watch these little orange clips. They break a lot of times, so we'll have to get to those. But then you've got 4 screws to take this off. So that's what I'm doing right now, is take these off. And then I need to pop that out and then strip all these orange clips off of here and then put them on to this one. So, I said 4 screws, nothing fancy to watch there. Nope. So there's that in. Let's see, these clips are a pain in the butt to get off. They're really easy to put on. You just clip them on and they go on the post. But to get them to loosen up, you have to pop that centerpiece out there on both sides to get it to come loose. Not as easy as it sounds. Thank God for keeping the thumbnail. Glad I got it for now. But there's that. So then I get this. I'll get the shifter bezel and pop that in. So that's the shifter bezel sitting in there. Kind of like the two-tone. Wanted it a little bit of a contrast instead of it just being all. I think that'll go cool with the shifter on it. So there we go. Everybody all clipped in. I kind of like it. So now, let's do this next. So here's the back of it. And then just to show, I'll just pick one here. The little clip, and it just goes on like so. So I just gotta snap those around. So for the vent ducts, so the foam side goes on the inside, so that goes back up in there. And there are tabs, so those little tabs here on the end go underneath, like so. Let's see, they go under there, and then just you have to kind of rock it and click it in. So put that back inside there. Click. Click. There's that one and that one. And then maybe massage this when I want to snap something. So hold on. So now they're all popped in. I'm going to try to wrestle this over the steering wheel and into here. So yeah, you're not going to listen to me cussing. All right. Let's switch around here so I can. So after much fussing and fighting and wrestling, there she is. I kind of like it. I think it goes pretty good with the B. Definitely changes the look. Wife's not sure. She thinks it might be a little over the top, and maybe, I don't know. I've wanted forged. Maybe the gold was a bit, but I think the combination of the forged and the regular carbon. I said the only things I'm not sold on, and that's just because the window switches again, that centerpiece. It looks really nice in there though. I mean that golden here pops. Same thing over there. It looks really good. So we'll have to see. But be careful, like wrestling this thing out. If you pull yours out, be very careful. I mean, it just pops in here, but if you get a little rambunctious, you might break it, or so I've been told. So not the new one, thank God, but it's a good thing this thing fits and works, because it's probably going to be the one that's in there for the duration, because I kind of hurt the old one. So there you have it. I think that looks pretty sick. All right, so just kind of cover it all again. Got an update. I talked to Randy last night with he is Destroyed Kustoms. The spots here and here, apparently there's different models, I guess, of these things, or different manufacturers under the part number, whatever. So Randy sounded genuinely distraught. He sounded like, he was definitely willing to help me out. So he ordered the OEM, the original, like the OEM switch. Then said he'd redo them for me. So I thought that was pretty cool. There was no delay, no hesitation. He's like, oh man, that sucks. Let's get this thing fixed. So he ordered new ones. He said he was going to redo them. Wife looked it over. She's not a fan, really. She prefers like the regular carbon. I think after driving around and stuff today, I kind of like the way the contrast between the two, the way they pop. So these, we've talked about it. She's gonna have these redone in regular carbon. And I had no problem he never mentioned it, but I'd send these back I don't have a problem at all doing that. The guy, he's been pretty straight up, pretty cool to deal with. Not had any, like I said, no grief, no problem at all. So hopefully here in the next little bit we'll get these, and he said too, once he gets the stuff in, that we'll FaceTime or whatever to make sure that what I have, the switch, because basically the guts in that won't work with the housing, or the guts from the original housing won't work with that. So he's gonna take care of it. We're gonna get together when he gets the parts in and chat, make sure that everything's legit and works and lines up like it's supposed to, and then we'll go from there. So just wanted to give an update. Shout out Destroyed Kustoms, Randy, the guy, awesome to deal with. don't find customer service like that very often anymore. I've been really, really fortunate between them and the billet technology folks with, you know, dealing with those guys over there. So anyway, that's just, like I said, wanted to give it a little update and shout out. So later.